So thank you for joining us for yet another segment. And I thought I would reach out to a good friend of mine, an individual who is an elected official. We have fun. We have fun from time to time, chatting. Doesn't matter the type of media that we are sharing, uh, but we could talk frank about most anything. I thought it was important to have him on, knowing that he's serving out the remainder of his term
Thank
as
God.
a county commissioner. He already chiming in, but I wanted to talk with him about a very important initiative I think that has been very helpful to Plymouth County, the CARES Act. Joining us right now is Plymouth County Commissioner Dan Pallotta, who's a friend and somebody who I've had many conversations with. Dan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing pretty good. Um, how are things going for you, knowing that you get just a couple of about a little bit a month, month and a half before?
2 months. I've been November and December, and
Yeah. All right. So November, December. All right. So you got 2 months left. Put in perspective as you're heading out the door as a county commissioner.
it's a wonderful feeling to see the light at the end of the tunnel. That's all I can tell you.
Really?
So let me go over cares because that's why we're here.
Yeah, we're here to talk about the CARES Act. This is, of course,
Yeah,
funding that was provided by the federal government and something that was sought out by the county to be able to distribute these funds specifically to the 27 communities that it serves, correct?
yes. So it's pretty interesting. The federal government decided back in uh, mid March to debate is what they called the CARES Act, and it was a 2.2 trillion with a T dollar act. Within that act, there's all sorts of things: payment protection program, direct funding for hospitals, nursing homes. Um, but there was 150 billion set aside for state, local, and tribal governments, and that's how they describe the units of government at the federal level: state, local, and tribal. The qualification for it was that you had to have 500,000 people, and you were eligible for CARES money. So my administrator was out with COVID. He was one of the first cases in the state. Was on a ventilator for 5 weeks. Um, Almost didn't make it. Doing great now. But I was getting his email. So in comes this request from the U.S. Treasury. I took a look at it, talked to the treasurer of the county, Tom O'Brien. I said, Tom, what do you think? And he said, well, let's apply. So as the chief executive officer of the county, I filled out a 4-page form, signed it, sent it to the federal government, and the following day, I got a call from the state saying, "We know you filled out. We know you filled out the form. You can't take that money. We have a plan for that money." So we didn't even know how much money it was. All we knew was it was supposed to come to us. So start digging into the act, and we'll find out that the Commonwealth was going to get 2.67 billion minus what local units of government asked for. We had asked Bristol and Norfolk also to apply, and unbeknownst to us at the time, the city of Boston applied. So 4 local units of government applied, and that comes off the 2.67 billion. Norfolk and Bristol shied away from the whole program when there was pressure that came down from the Baker administration, and I did the opposite. I dug in for my 27 towns, and I said, we're keeping the money, we're distributing the money, we're going to do it better than the state, and we have. So the county of Plymouth got 90,943,000, which is 45% of the amount of money the county should get based on a per resident basis. The Commonwealth got 111 million for Plymouth County. Of course, nobody knows where that 111 million went because they're not open and transparent like we are down at the county. And we can show you where every dollar is. We have it on our website, www.plymouthcountycares.com. You want to know what your town is eligible for and how much they've received to date? It's all on the website. We put together a website in 2 weeks, and we had money out the door about 4 weeks after we received the CARES money. We were ahead of the state by weeks, and our cities and towns will receive approximately 95% of their share that they would get by population, approximately. On the Commonwealth side, the numbers are in the tens and the 15%. So we're really excited about what we did for our cities and towns. Brockton's going to get $18 million. If the Commonwealth had done it, Brockton would be eligible for about 8 million. So it was smart for the commissioners to do it. I know we got beat up in the press, and we got beat up, and we can't handle it, and blah, blah, blah. All of it untrue. As a matter of fact, there's a candidate running for treasurer saying that there's no ethics in the program, and all the talking points of another county official who shall be renamed nameless but carries a badge. And we just let it bounce off us because we're administering the money. We're administering the money great. We have an audit team. We have an accounting team. We have a legal team. We didn't hire any additional staff at the county. No one's getting pensionable increases because of this program. And our percentage of administration is almost next to nothing compared to what the Commonwealth's doing. So on our side, I'm pretty happy about it. So what this CARES, I'm going to keep going if I can.
Yeah, we have a half an hour here, so it's let's have a conversation.
All right, keep going.
Yeah, again,
all right, sorry.
I know you want to call it the Dan Show. I get it. I understand. But I want to ask a few questions here because what initially my understanding is that when the county sought out the monies, that there were questions that were asked by the county to the state as to, can the state guarantee that 100% of the monies were going to go to,
So, was that question asked? Yeah, it was asked by me.
Yeah, but I'm saying though
to the secretary of ANF, who's number 3 in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Really nice gentleman, even though we were on opposite sides on this. Really nice, real communicative. I asked him, I says, can you guarantee the 90 million is going to come to my cities and towns? He said, no, I can't guarantee that. Well, let's see what the guidance says, because once the guidance came out, it was a question of what was the state right or the county right? Because the guidance came out and said, okay, this is how the fund has to be administered. If it was beyond our capability, I would have been the first one to hand it to the state. Because, they have hundreds of millions of thousands of people doing nothing up there that could administer the program. But when we got down to the brass tacks, it was something that was relatively simple to do. And we're doing it right. And I don't know that they're doing it right. I don't think they're doing it right. I think we're doing it right. And we set up a receipt-based program where the cities and towns send us their receipts and we send the money back.
So what about, how much pressure did the county receive from the state? Because there are...
First of all, the first correspondence that was received came from the Secretary of ANF to the 27 towns, basically threatening the 27 towns that if they took money from the county, that the state would punish them. And it was the most threatening letter I've ever seen in government. I've been doing government since 1993. That's a long time. It was a real threatening letter. And Representative Claire Cronin got on her bandwagon, give the money back. And then the mayor, give the money back. And then town administrator down in town manager in Plymouth, give the money back. And one by one, they all read this letter, they got scared, give the money back. I analyzed it. There was no way that our towns would do as well with the state program as they do with our program. So I kept the money. And I knew I'd get beat up for a month, and I did. I didn't care because we're elected to represent the 27 towns, and we are the funding mechanism from the federal government. This isn't the only grant program we do for the federal government. We do the Justice Administration grant. We do a bunch of other smaller grants. So this isn't new for us. And counties do better at getting grants than individual towns because the rest of the country is done by counties. So, when the town of Marshfield is looking for money and they're going against, Dade County, they're not going to get it.
Mm.
So when it goes in by the county, it does better. So, yeah, we took a lot of grief. Right now, no one's complaining because they're getting checks.
Did you have a lot of the officials, a lot of the local officials who were fearful that there would be retribution from the state? Have they since recanted, and have they since had checks given to their respective municipalities?
So the city of Brockton will get more money than, the city of Brockton was one of our biggest detractors. The mayor had to do what the mayor had to do. I mean, he was threatened by the Commonwealth. He gets a lot of funding from the Commonwealth. I respect the mayor. You've got a great mayor here. He loves Brockton. He breathes Brockton. He did what he believed was right for Brockton. Go ahead and bash Pallotta. I even had a discussion with him. You're gonna bash me? Go bash me. I don't care. Here's the bottom line. I'm not giving the money back. If you wanted to apply for it, they're applying for it. They've received a couple of million already, and I think we got 8 million in the queue for next week. So I mean, the money's flowing to Brockton, and you know what? Brockton's lost 260 souls, and as the mayor says all the time, they had a real problem there. We even adjusted the funding formula for Brockton so that Brockton could get a bigger piece of the county pie because their need was greater. Now, if he wasn't exactly kind to me, nor was Representative Cronin kind to me, or Dubois, or Senator Brady. They were pounding on me. But the right thing to do is get the money to Brockton, and we did, and we will continue to do so. And in the end, if they still believe we should have given it to the state, that's fine. They're entitled to their opinion.
Again, we're speaking with the Plymouth County Commissioner, Dan Pallotta. We're talking about the CARES Act. This is the federal funding that the county sought after to be able to distribute to those communities that needed to relief, COVID funding relief, to be able to take care of things during this ongoing pandemic. Do you feel a sense of redemption as an elected official who has given his heart and soul to Plymouth County, knowing that there have been people out there who have wanted to see the county go away, so to speak, as the government?
I'll tell you, if the county had gone away, you wouldn't have gotten CARES funding, and the cities and towns would be left holding a big bag right now, a big bag. Does that mean that the county won't go away? I mean, I don't know. It's up to the legislature if they want to abolish counties. It's not up to the county. I think the county has a great function. We have an unbelievable financial operation there, contrary to what the candidate for treasurer Montpelier is saying. We run an extremely tight ship. There are checks and balances between the commissioners and the treasurer's office, and we overfunded retirement by $2 million in the last 2 years. We established a bank account, put $1 million in over the last year. All right, we've had a surplus 5 years in a row, and we've done all the audits that weren't done under the previous commissioners. Commissioner Reardon didn't do an audit for 8 years. 8 years. 8 years. How do you run a government entity without doing an audit? I had to go do all those audits and my own audits. And by the way, 3 clean audits in a row. The County of Plymouth is in great shape. We're serving our communities. We're doing the best we can with the small budget that we have. And the CARES Act is a great example of why you need county government.
Is there still a threat that looms from the state, or do you feel as though the state is just kind of watching watching what you're doing in the process, and you may hear that the county may hear from state officials down the road just to check for checks and balances?
We are in constant contact with the Commonwealth. Um, have been since we took the money. Um, their philosophies are different than our philosophies. Their policies are different than our policies. But again, the Congress gave it to states, local, and tribal. We're the local. And the reason they gave that 45% to the locals because we know what our cities and towns need. And they don't up at the state. When the state gave out their money, Kevin, they put aside 502 million for the 323 other towns. Only 72 million was claimed. The towns couldn't even figure out how to do it. They had no one to call. Every single town knows how to get a hold of me or get a hold of Tom or get a hold of Greg or get a hold of Sandy. They get an answer. So when it's done locally, it gets done. And that's what happened with the CARES program, man. It's being done.
And is there still money in the kitty to this day? I mean, where does it stand? Is this something that is going to
Let me explain it quickly. So the CARES Act goes from March 1st to December 30th. Expenses from March 1st to December 30th. That's rule 1. Rule 2 has to be COVID related. Rule 3, it has to be unbudgeted. Those are the 3 major rules for the CARES Act. If you hit those 3 rules, you can submit your expense. We got a lot of expenses coming in right now for schools. They've all started up, and now they're getting their bills and their receipts, and they're all coming in. Millions and millions of dollars. As of tonight, we will have distributed about $20 million. I'm sorry, we will have received requests for over $20 million. We have pledges from the cities and towns that they're going to use at least 80 million of the 91 million. We had a request from the Commonwealth to give them assistance, for the county to give the Commonwealth assistance on the rental program. Dial 211 if you need rental assistance. We are participating in that. We are working with the Commonwealth on that. So yes, are they happy that we took the money? No. Do we work with them? Sure we do. We're civil, they're civil, and we'll see how it works.
What do you say to the people who feel that this was a stunt during an election year to gain put the spotlight on county officials who are seeking re-election? What do you say to those people?
So number 1, I applied for the money. I'm not running for re-election. One of the reasons I'm not running for re-election is CARES. I knew it was going to take 30, 40 hours a week for me, and it has, and it continues to do so. You have no idea how much work it is. And, we don't get compensated for that. With regard to the treasurer and Commissioner Hanley, who are both on the ballot this year, CARES had absolutely nothing to do with them being on the ballot. It had to do with me filling out a 4-page form, submitting it. Now, of course, the commissioners voted to agree to accept it, but not because of politics, but because we generally wanted to get the money to the cities and towns. I think Treasurer O'Brien would be very happy if he didn't have CARES. He's spending an extra 25 hours a week on CARES. And if you ask the cities and towns, they're going to tell you it's fair. They're going to tell you they're getting what they're asking for. There's no politics. It's simple rules. You do A, B, C, and D, and a check comes.
Again, we're speaking with Dan Pallotta, who is a Plymouth County Commissioner. As he just says, he's not seeking a re-election. Talk to me about the source of pride of being able to give the checks out to communities that have struggled financially, that need this financial assistance, especially when it comes to education, knowing that you have that a lot of municipalities are dealing with funding issues because of COVID and having to get extra resources to be able to continually educate during a pandemic.
Right. So Brockton is a great example in Marshfield. who were both really lacking in remote learning.
Mm.
The first one to order laptops was Marshfield. They ordered $1 million worth of laptops right out of the gate, knowing that at some point there was going to be remote. They foresaw it. They got ahead of the curve. Brockton ordered 16,000 Chromebooks.
Wow.
And guess what? Plymouth County Cares is going to pay for 16,000 Chromebooks. Every child in Brockton is going to have a Chromebook. They're going to learn. We're excited to be able to help the city of Brockton. We're excited because this is going to go beyond Cares. Those Chromebooks aren't going to turn off on December 30th. Those Chromebooks become the property of the city of Brockton and will become part of their technology learning. It's a phenomenal that we've been able to help them.
I would ask you this, and that is now that you're going to be stepping down as an elected official, you're still going to be a part. Will you still be assisting as needed in regards to the CARES Act and COVID?
Well, my role ends on I think January 3rd. I'll come back and help if the commissioners ask me to come back and help. I have absolutely no doubt they don't need to do that. Tom can easily could do the job, and Commissioner Hanley and Commissioner Wright are familiar with the program enough that they don't need to call me back. So I don't expect to be called back.
Yep.
But I would never leave the county high and dry. We've worked really hard on this program. Commissioner Hanley and Wright and I have worked really, really hard. Well, I don't want to see it go down in flames.
Well, if you hadn't taken the initiative to fill out that 4-page form, would there have been someone else who would have stepped up and done so?
Probably not, because they wouldn't have gotten the email. So it's just a function of email. We might have caught it with Norfolk County talking about it, and the treasurer would have caught it too. So, but as things were coming in, we're trading emails. Do we do this? Do we not do this? Do we do this? Do we not do this?
Mm-hmm.
So, we had a cover for the administrator. When you're the chairman and your administrator goes down, you essentially have to answer every question. Your phone doesn't stop. So I think that I would have to say I don't know on that. So.
Do you have any intuition in regards to whether there might be a CARES Act 2 in the coming months?
I'm a Republican, and I don't think that there should be revenue replacement. I know that the deep blue states want revenue replacement because they have spending problems. The county of Plymouth doesn't have a spending problem. We don't need revenue replacement. Our books are in great shape even through the pandemic. So I don't know why every state couldn't be in the same boat. That being said, Massachusetts and cities and towns need revenue. And since we don't have a legislature or a governor willing to cut staff throughout the Commonwealth to help the cities and towns with revenue, it's got to come from somewhere. But someone's paying that bill at some point. All these trillions of dollars have to be paid at some point. So I think it'll pass. I think the HEROES Act is going to pass. If it passes and it has a state, local, and tribal component, the county of Plymouth will discuss whether to apply for it again, because this time we'll have a little more time than we did with last time. And I can tell you, if I'm still there, we'll apply, because I believe that money in the local hands is better than money at the state level.
Are you sad to be leaving county government? Are you sad that you are no longer going to be holding the mantle of Plymouth County Commissioner or serving so aptly as its chair?
Nope, not sad at all. I did my part. I've been doing the county for 13 years. It's somebody else's turn. I'm really proud of taking the mess that was handed to me by Commissioner Reardon and Commissioner O'Brien, and turning it around. It's an unbelievable success story that Commissioner Wright and Commissioner Hanley and I will always be able to say we did. If you just go back and look at the audits that we've now completed that they didn't do, and see the mess they were in, and how we've transformed out of that mess into a financial powerhouse. I'm pretty proud of that. I don't know what more I can do other than to administer government. I'm not that type of guy. I fixed it. It's time for me to do something else.
So what is that something else? Do you already have that on the front burner, or is it getting shifted to the front burner as we speak?
No, I'm gonna work. This takes a lot of time from work, and I only have a few years left, so that I can get my retirement built up. Yeah, I probably have 10 good years left, so I need to bank my money. I don't get a pension. I'm not one of those government people that gets a pension. So I'm looking forward to just working when I do my day job, and banking some money, and I did my part. I've been in government since 1993, and it's somebody else's turn. The system will do far better when I'm gone.
We just got like 2 minutes left here. Anything that we haven't touched upon in regards to the CARES Act? The
Well, I do,
funding?
I do want to again comment on that. The candidate running for treasurer, trashing the CARES Act and trashing the treasurer, saying that it's being administered wrong and it's political and this and that, and restore ethics. And this woman's running as a Republican, has never called this commissioner, who's the chairman of the county commissioners, who's a Republican. She was asked to run by the sheriff. She's the sheriff's candidate. The sheriff's trying to dismantle the county. It's not going to happen. And she's clueless. And if she knew anything about the CARES Act, she'd know that Plymouth County CARES Act is being run better than any county in the United States of America. We follow almost every county, all 157 counties. We check their websites to see what they're doing. Can we do it better? And we haven't found anyone doing it better than the three commissioners and the Treasurer O'Brien.
Well, we want to thank you again for joining us and being a guest on this program.
Thank you.